There's a framework I keep returning to, something I shared with prevention professionals and leaders from across the country. Prevention and recovery are not opposites. They are two sides to the same human journey. Both are about becoming your best self. Whether you're 15 and learning emotional regulation or 35 and rebuilding your life after addiction, the tools are the same.
Welcome to Prevention Leaders Podcast with Dave Closson, your source for insights into the world of substance misuse prevention. Each episode, Dave brings you the latest strategies, expert discussions, and real-life success stories designed to empower your work and inspire impactful change. Whether you're a prevention professional, community advocate, or simply passionate about making a difference, this podcast will keep you informed and motivated. Get ready to lead with a confidence that drives lasting results. Let's lead the change together.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Prevention Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Closson. And first off, thank you for your patience. It's been a couple weeks since our last episode, and for good reason. I had the incredible opportunity to attend the 68th Commission on Narcotic Drugs at the United Nations in Vienna, Austria. Not only did I attend, but I was invited to speak alongside my good friend Shane Varcoe from the Dalgarno Institute. All focus shifted to preparing for this big event. And let me tell you, it was more than just an event. It was an experience, a moment of alignment, a chance to stand on a global stage and speak from both science and story, from data and the heart. So today's episode is inspired by that session with Shane, and even more by a question that continues to echo in my mind. What narratives are we amplifying? And what narratives are we silencing in our communities and in ourselves? We're going to dig deep into the overlap between prevention and recovery. This isn't theory for me. This is lived. I know what it means to navigate darkness, to find your footing, and to choose a different story. My own journey through trauma, addiction, recovery, and healing has shaped the way I see prevention. It's not about perfection. It's about purpose. It's about becoming. It's about embracing the fullness of who we are and who we're becoming. Let's start here. In society, some lived experiences are celebrated, while others dismissed. If you're a cancer survivor, your story is inspirational. If you survived a traumatic accident, your story becomes a teaching tool. If you overcame abuse, your voice is seen as a source of strength. But if you're in recovery from addiction, if you once used substances to cope, to survive, to numb, too often your story gets labeled as dangerous, triggering, or worse, irrelevant. We're told that recovery stories don't belong in prevention, that they scare people, that they glamorize or dramatize. But I want to call BS a little. When someone in recovery shares their truth, when they say, this is what I lived through, and this is how I found my way out, that is not a scare tactic. That is a roadmap. We don't dismiss a burn survivor for warning us about fire. So why do we sideline people who are living proof that change is possible? This double standard is not just unfair, it's dangerous. Because when we silence voices of earned resilience, we rob communities of some of their most powerful prevention tools. I've seen this in rooms full of prevention professionals, coalition members, and community leaders. When someone in recovery speaks up, not with blame or shame, but with honesty and courage, walls come down, hearts open, and conversations get real. The issue isn't the story. It's the system. It's the stigma. And it's the silence we allow to fester when we don't challenge these assumptions. When I first started sharing my story, it wasn't easy. I had to internalize the idea that my past disqualified me, that sharing it might harm my credibility, that being vulnerable would make people uncomfortable. But what I found was the exact opposite. People leaned in. They didn't hear weakness. They heard strength. They heard resilience. They heard real. And that's what we need more of in prevention spaces. So let's get into the science. The data is clear. People in recovery make incredibly effective prevention educators. Programs like the Well communities and research from the Dalgarno Institute show peer support promotes natural dopamine release through healthy social connection. Recovery engagement helps create new neural pathways, actually rewiring the brain. Participants in peer-led recovery prevention models show improved mental health, reduced relapse, and lower rates of criminal justice involvement. Here's the kicker. These peer-led approaches are cost-effective, sustainable, and deeply human. We're not just talking theory. We're talking about brain chemistry, epigenetics, stress hormone regulation. All of it backs what recovery and prevention leaders have been saying for years. Connection is the medicine. As someone who's walked this path through the Army, law enforcement, addiction, PTSD, TBI, and the long road of healing, I can tell you this. The story of survival becomes the strategy for prevention. When I share that I used to rely on alcohol to cope, to suppress, to control, to survive, it's not to shock, it's to say, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not weak, you're human. And there is a better way. Recovery stories are prevention stories because they offer something no curriculum can teach. Hope. And hope, when paired with evidence-based strategies, is a force multiplier. Imagine prevention programs where young people don't just hear about the risks. They see living proof that transformation is possible. Imagine coalitions where people in recovery help design the strategies, not just share their stories. Imagine where we stop asking, what's wrong with you, and start asking, what happened to you and how did you rise? For me, recovery gave me space to ask those questions, and prevention gave me the language to teach them to others. The truth is, you don't just prevent something, you create something better. You create a life you don't want to escape from. You create a vision of your future self that's worth showing up for. You create the conditions for resilience, connection, and meaning. This is where prevention and recovery meet. In the commitment to help people thrive, not just survive. In the military, strength meant toughness. Vulnerability wasn't a part of the equation. But in recovery, I learned that strength also means softness. It means being real. It means saying, I need help, and then receiving it. That shift from control to connection, from silence to story, is where healing begins. And it's also where prevention becomes most powerful. Because when people believe they matter, when they have the support systems, not just scare tactics, when they're seen, heard, and equipped, they make better choices. They build stronger communities. They become leaders of change. If you're in recovery, I want you to hear this. Your story matters, not just in a meeting, not just in private, in classrooms, on stages, in strategy sessions. Your lived experience is leadership. If you're in prevention, I challenge you to reflect. Are we creating space for those stories? Are we tapping into the powerful lessons recovery has to offer? And if you're listening, wondering where you fit into all of this, know that you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to ask better questions. Who am I becoming? Am I building a life I'm excited to wake up to? Am I creating space for others to do the same? That's the overlap. That's the opportunity. That's what this episode really is about. If this message resonated with you, Share this episode with someone who needs it, a colleague, a coalition partner, a friend in recovery. If you want to explore more about the intersection between prevention, recovery, and leadership, head over to my website and let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, I'm Dave Closson. Stay connected, stay purposeful, and keep building a world where prevention is better together.
Thank you for listening to the Prevention Leaders Podcast with Dave Closson. Since prevention is better together, make sure you click the subscribe button and share this and other episodes with a friend. If you have a topic idea or guest suggestion, follow us on social media or email us at info@preventionleaders.com.